Alright folks, so I guess for the bad news, you see I still have the same, I'm not even going to call it an Xpipe because it's not even an Xpipe. So what I'm going to end up doing, I didn't put that scribe there, but that's about where I'm going to cut it. I'm going to end up using V-bands here and here. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to weld it. You really can't see. Well, yeah, you can. You can see how low that is. And then I showed you on the last picture, there's like a little 1 inch by 1 inch hole in there. So I guess that makes it an Xpipe, but it's not a real Xpipe. Once again, the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want all that crackle, popping, noise, drone, and everything else that comes with having single pipes on each header for dual exhaust. So I'm going to cut it here. Then you can grab you your favorite pencil grinder. I always use a corded one because if you use a battery one, they're always going to give out quick. This is a short deburring tool. You don't want that. You're going to want to use, I think this is an 8-inch. I tried to find one really longer, but I didn't have any. This is all I had. I'm not going to buy a new one. Good ones are expensive. So when I cut it here, I don't know if you can see the line there. When I cut it here, I'll be able to go in and aug that out. I'll be able to come in here and aug the front part out. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld inside the gap, and I'm going to make it nice and flush with the top. That way when I cut out the center, it's going to be huge. Now a lot of people might say you're basically just filling in the material with the weld so that you have more to take out on the inside, and I'll show you the pictures. So once again, let me show you the inside. There you go. You can, I want to do it before and after, so you can see that tiny little hole. That's like a maybe a 3/4 by 1 1/4 inch, maybe even 1.5 inches to be exact, but you can see how tiny that is. So I'll do a before and after shot. Alright, so let me show you what I did. So I got a paint pen. I put top on there because I know that's the top, top, top. I put a groove on this, and I put a groove on this, and I used the tape pen, the paint pen also. I put 2 dimples there, 2 dimples there, 2 dimples there, 2 dimples there. That way when I put it back together, I know exactly how these pipes are going to line up. Then, as you can see, they're not perfectly straight. It's got a kick up. When you set it on a flat spot, hold this flat, measure this straight to the ground. I already took my measurement. And also, you'll want to measure from the inside to the inside, so when you put it back together, you get pretty close to the same measurement. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut right here, and I'm going to cut right here. So then you'll want to make your cut with a bandsaw. So you'll have room when you put them back together. So here you can see that tiny little hole. There you go. And what I'm gonna do first is start putting some material on here. I'm gonna weld on top of it and keep piling it up so that I can just grind out that whole center and go from there. So I'll show you when I set it all up. Alright, so what I did here was, these are the original welds. So I grounded on the inside. You can see a whole lot of difference there, look at that. I grounded on the inside till I could kind of see those welds starting to glow. So I know I'm right on the edge of it. So we're gonna make this hole as big as we can. So I can't do anything until I start welding this out. And I'm not going to pull everything out because it's already late. But I'll probably put a couple of passes on there, nice and thick. Because that's actually pretty good, but I want to see that thing a whole lot bigger. Alright, so let's start adding some material to it. I'm going to be using my trusty 180 dual Lincoln. It's a great welder that's not a Home Depot type welder. I don't know if those welders are any good, but the 180 dual will go from 110 to 220. It's really, really nice. This is what you call the weld. That's packed in there. Super heavy. I'm gonna let it cool off before I touch it, so I'll get back to you. So here's what it should look like. Super duper heavy. All the way around. This is the only pass I'm gonna put on it. It's thick and it's good. I'm gonna let this dry off for a little bit. Then I'll show you how much I'm going to grind off. Alright, so now that I can grab this, let me show you. And then for the inside, it's ugly, but that's going to be way bigger now. There you go. Oh, you know what? Now you should be able to see even more clear. There you go, look at that. All right, so let me get to grinding and I'll show you the final product. You can call the weld uglies, you can call them whatever you want. Remember, this was one super fat, thick weld. Wasn't meant to look pretty. But it's definitely uniform. Alright. Alright, so this took me forever, but this is the only light I have. But look at that. All the way through. There's your true Xpipe right there. Look at that. All the way through. There you go, folks. So let me put this thing together now. Alrighty. Left and right. I did something I said I wasn't gonna do, but this was so much darn work. This isn't something I would do again. I didn't even put the V-bands on. I just welded the two tubes back together. So now it'll just be stationary, won't be a quick disconnect. These are in their exact location. But that's it. It's complete, and it's an actual real Xpipe now. Let me get a flashlight. So look at that. Now that's a huge hole, and it goes way further back. That's an Xpipe, folks. That's what I wanted. This isn't the exact one I wanted, but at least this is better than what it was. So like I said, I had to pack the hell out of that. I just welded those back together, and they're exact. You can see the lines on there. I don't know if I showed it in my other video, but I put a dimple there, and I put a dimple there, and you can see the yellow line. It all matches up. You can see the yellow line right there, and it runs all the way through there. There's two dimples in there and two dimples that got welded over. So it's in the exact same position it should be. I'm going to do the full install tomorrow. Look at that, goes right into the other pipe.